Away from the presidential election, but in Virginia, there's a legal battle over Governor Glenn Youngkin's executive order to remove non-citizens from the voter roll. The federal government says it violates laws. Today, both sides argue to keep or get rid of this executive order. The judge is expected to make a decision tomorrow morning in Alexandria. Our Matthew Torres gets us up to speed.
Everybody's out voting. It's great.
Since Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin passed an executive order to remove non-citizens from the voter roll, more than 1,600 Virginians had their registration canceled.
What we've seen in other states and what we're starting to learn in Virginia is that's inaccurate.
But attorney Brent Ferguson, the federal government, and several groups question the data. They sue the Commonwealth, arguing the order is illegal. In court, the Justice Department says the Commonwealth violated a federal law when it systematically purged Virginians during a 90-day quiet period before the election. This period prevents programs like this to avoid mistakes that would disenfranchise legitimate voters with little time to fix.
That's because they're flawed and they end up kicking citizens off the rolls, eligible people.
The order requires the DMV to submit people who registered as a non-citizen to the Elections Department daily, where names are matched down to the local level. But plaintiffs also argue there are cases where eligible voters have been removed because records were not updated, meaning the same people eventually became a naturalized citizen.
This is also discriminatory against naturalized citizens. Naturalized citizens are Americans and they deserve the right to vote.
The defense says there was no intent to discriminate, acknowledging the process had errors. Defense attorney Charles Cooper shied away from our cameras, but in court, he argued the process aims to simply catch mistakes. He's worried what reinstating non-citizens would mean. He says, quote, "The state just can't ignore that. The state has a responsibility. If a non-citizen votes, it will cancel out a legal voter. That harm represents a significantly larger threat." Here's Youngkin at a recent CNN appearance.
Because it is done on an individualized basis, person by person, and because that person has in fact self-identified as a non-citizen, this is not subject to the 90-day blackout period, in my view, and in counsel's advice.
If the judge blocks this order, plaintiffs recommended not only having the names restored back to these voter rolls, but also required the state to send them letters notifying them about what happened and reminding them that if they are not a citizen, they are not allowed to vote. In Alexandria tonight, I'm Matthew Torres, WUSA 9.